The day of the engagement was supposed to be a milestone, a celebration of love, unity, and a shared future. Instead, it became the day everything shattered. I sat in front of the vanity mirror, my reflection blurred by the storm of emotions swirling inside me. My phone sat on the table, its screen frozen on a message from Joaquin. "I heard you're getting engaged today," it read, accompanied by a picture. It was him, wearing a navy blue suit, his arm confidently draped around Elizabeth, my fiancée. They looked radiant together, like the perfect couple, but the sight burned like acid. He had the audacity to flaunt her, and the green diamond in his cufflink gleamed with a cruel irony. It was the same stone I had given Elizabeth as a 6-year anniversary gift. My stomach churned. "She already picked up her suit yesterday," the makeup artist's voice broke through my thoughts. Her words felt like confirmation of the betrayal I feared but hadn't dared to believe. My chest tightened, and I fought the urge to let the emotions consume me. Then my phone buzzed again. Another message from Joaquin. "By the way, she said this suit suits me better than it ever did you." The words hit me like a punch. My fingers trembled as I dialed Elizabeth's number. The sound of unanswered rings was deafening, and after dozens of attempts, I threw the phone onto the table, its clatter echoing in the silent room. My heart pounded as I tried to steady my breathing. When the makeup artist timidly offered me her phone, I took it without hesitation and dialed again. This time, the call connected. "Where are you?" I demanded, my voice cold and clipped. Elizabeth's tone was infuriatingly nonchalant. "Didn't I tell you I'm on a business trip? You'll be fine without me." My grip on the phone tightened. "You're making me go through the engagement alone?" "It's a special situation," she replied dismissively. "I'll bring you a gift when I get back." I could hear a man's voice faintly in the background before she hung up abruptly. My throat tightened as disappointment washed over me, threatening to drown the love I once held for her. That evening, I stood alone, walking through the engagement ceremony under the judgmental eyes of our guests. Their whispers were like knives slicing through the thin veil of composure I barely managed to maintain. "Some people are so pathetic, unbelievable. Who's he trying to fool with this one-man show?" Their words lingered in the air like smoke, suffocating me. I kept walking, focusing on putting one foot in front of the other, until a collective gasp from the crowd made me turn. My blood froze when I saw the screen behind me. It was a live broadcast. Elizabeth, the woman who should have been standing by my side, was in Edinburgh. She knelt on one knee, holding a bouquet of purple irises as she confessed her love to Joaquin. The comments on the stream flashed across the screen like relentless taunts. "What a perfect match." Wishing them happiness forever, my hands balled into fists at my sides as I watched, unable to look away from the spectacle. It felt as though I had been thrust into a nightmare where I was the uninvited guest to my own tragedy. Elizabeth returned a week later, as if nothing had happened. I discovered her private escapades through the credit card statement. She had booked a venue for 3 days to celebrate Joaquin's return. She didn't invite me, of course. The whispers of her inner circle painted a clear picture of how little I mattered. "Why does she keep him around?" one sneered. "He's just a placeholder." "Exactly," another replied. "She's already got Joaquin. Why bother with Paul?" I overheard everything as I approached the door, and when I finally stepped inside, the room fell silent. Elizabeth's smile faltered as she noticed me, her composure cracking for the briefest moment before she masked it with indifference. "You missed my engagement party to give him flowers?" I asked, my voice low but firm. She rolled her eyes. "Stop making a scene. I have things to do." Her dismissiveness stoked the fire inside me. "If we don't settle this now, no one is leaving this room." Joaquin, ever the opportunist, interjected with his infuriatingly calm tone. "Paul, you're misunderstanding. Elizabeth and I are just friends. Yesterday was a friendly gesture, nothing more. I ignored him, focusing on Elizabeth. A friendly gesture? You were on one knee, Elizabeth. She scoffed. Stop believing everything you see online. You're acting like a jealous fool. Her words were the final straw. My anger boiled over, and before I knew it, my hand had collided with Joaquin's smug face. The room erupted into chaos as he staggered backward, clutching his cheek in shock. You burned me, I said, lifting my hand, still red from the scalding water he had accidentally spilled on me moments earlier. Consider this payback. I turned to Elizabeth, her face pale and stricken. Take your dirty games and your dirty man, I spat, my voice icy. I'm done. With that, I walked out, leaving behind the woman I had loved for 6 years and the life I had built around her. The weight of betrayal was crushing, but with every step away from them, I felt a spark of something I hadn't felt in years: freedom. I left the company the next day, determined to sever every tie to the Lin family and their deceitful daughter. But the universe wasn't done testing me. Joaquin, fresh from stealing my fiancé, also took the position I had been vying for at the company. He became my boss, and with Elizabeth's support, he ensured my life there was unbearable. He's just better than you, Elizabeth had said with a smirk. Higher degree, better connections. Stop comparing yourself to him. Those words echoed in my mind as I packed my belongings and walked out of the office for the last time. The jewelry industry was small, and I knew news of my departure would spread quickly. I couldn't stay in their shadow any longer. It was time to chart my own path, no matter how daunting it seemed. And so, with nothing but determination and the remnants of my pride, I took a leap of faith and joined their biggest rival. If the Lin family thought they could break me, they were in for a surprise. I wasn't just going to survive, I was going to rise, higher, stronger, and untouchable. Joining the Lin family's fiercest competitor, Sue Corporation, was both a bold and risky move. Sue Corporation had long been an underdog in the jewelry industry, fighting tooth and nail for market share against the more established Lin dynasty. Despite their smaller size, their team had a reputation for innovation and a rebellious spirit that matched my newfound determination. Misty Sue, the company's young and sharp-tongued vice president, greeted me on my first day with a skeptical raise of her eyebrow. Paul, isn't it? Let me guess, you're here to prove a point, she asked, her voice tinged with amusement. Something like that, I replied, refusing to be baited. Misty's lips curled into a knowing smile. Good. Prove it to me first. Let's see if you're worth the gamble. The weeks that followed were grueling. I buried myself in work, sketching designs late into the night and familiarizing myself with Sue Corporation's unique approach to jewelry design. Unlike Lin's traditional, conservative style, Sue thrived on bold, avant-garde concepts that pushed boundaries. It was a refreshing change and the perfect canvas for my creativity. Misty proved to be a challenging but insightful mentor. She had an uncanny ability to pinpoint flaws in my designs, pushing me to refine them until they were nothing short of perfection. Her sharp critiques were tempered by moments of unexpected encouragement, and I found myself striving to exceed her expectations. But as I began to find my footing at Sue Corporation, the specter of my past continued to haunt me. Elizabeth's name appeared in industry news articles, often alongside Joaquin's. They were touted as the golden couple of Lins, their collaborative efforts praised for revitalizing the brand. It was infuriating to watch from the sidelines, knowing how much of my work had contributed to Lin's success. Then came the announcement that ignited a fire within me, the annual International Jewelry Design Competition. It was the industry's most prestigious event, a platform where designers from around the world showcased their best work. Winning this competition was a surefire way to establish oneself as a powerhouse in the field. You should enter, Misty said one evening as we reviewed design concepts. Your work has the potential to win. And if it doesn't? I asked, hesitant. Misty's eyes sparkled with determination. Then we try again. But something tells me you're not the type to lose. Her confidence in me was both inspiring and daunting. For the first time in months, I allowed myself to dream of something greater. I poured my soul into my design, creating a piece that reflected not only my technical skill but also the raw emotions of betrayal, resilience, and hope. The day of the competition arrived, and as I stood amidst a sea of talented designers, I felt a mix of nerves and excitement. My piece, Phoenix Reborn, was unveiled to the judges, its intricate details and bold design capturing the essence of my journey. When the results were announced, my heart raced. The winner of the International Jewelry Design Competition is. Winning the International Jewelry Design Competition wasn't just a personal milestone, it was a declaration to the world. The announcement came with a thunderous applause that echoed through the grand hall. My creation, Phoenix Reborn, had captured not only the judges' votes but also the audience's hearts. It was a piece that embodied my journey, rising from the ashes of betrayal and heartbreak to a new, unyielding self. As I walked onto the stage to accept the award, a flood of emotions threatened to overwhelm me. The lights were blinding, but the weight of validation was liberating. Misty Sue stood in the audience, clapping with a knowing smile. Her faith in me had been unshakable, and this victory was as much hers as it was mine. The post-competition celebration was a whirlwind of congratulations, networking, and offers. Industry giants who had once dismissed me as a footnote were now eager to collaborate. Yet, amidst the chaos, my eyes were drawn to a figure lingering by the bar. Elizabeth. She approached slowly, her gaze a mix of pride and regret. Congratulations, Paul. You've really made a name for yourself. I took a moment to study her, noting the faint lines of stress on her face. What are you doing here, Elizabeth? She hesitated, her usual confidence faltering. I wanted to see you. To apologize. The words hung in the air, heavy and unexpected. I raised an eyebrow. Apologize? For what exactly? Her hands clenched into fists at her sides. For everything. For how I treated you, for how I let things fall apart. Her voice wavered, and she looked away. I was wrong. A part of me wanted to relish her vulnerability, to throw her words back in her face. But another part, the one that had loved her for years, felt a pang of sympathy. It's a little late for that, don't you think? I said, my tone measured. She nodded, her eyes brimming with unshed tears. I know. But seeing you here, achieving all of this. I realized what I lost. I didn't respond immediately. Instead, I glanced at Misty, who was chatting animatedly with a group of designers. Unlike Elizabeth, Misty had believed in me when no one else did. She had pushed me, challenged me, and stood by me through the toughest times. The contrast was glaring. Elizabeth, I began, my voice firm, you didn't just lose me. You lost yourself in chasing things that didn't matter. Her expression crumbled, but I didn't let it sway me. I'm not the same person I was back then. And honestly, I'm glad I'm not. She opened her mouth to speak, but I held up a hand. Enjoy the event, Elizabeth. And good luck with everything. With that, I turned and walked away, leaving her standing there amidst the glittering crowd. It was a moment of closure, not just for her, but for the part of me that had clung to the past for far too long. The days following the competition were a blur of activity. The media dubbed me the Jewelry Tycoon, a title that Misty found endlessly amusing. You're not just a designer anymore, she teased one evening over dinner. You're a brand. I chuckled, shaking my head. Let's not get carried away. But there was truth in her words. offers from international brands poured in, each one more enticing than the last. Yet, my heart remained with Sue Corporation. Misty's vision for the company aligned perfectly with my own, and together, we began crafting a new chapter for the business. Our collaboration wasn't just professional. The connection between us deepened with every late-night brainstorming session and shared triumph. Misty's sharp intellect and unwavering determination were a constant source of inspiration, and I found myself looking forward to our time together more than anything else. One evening, as we walked through the quiet streets of the city, she turned to me with a serious expression. "Paul, have you thought about what's next?" I frowned slightly. "What do you mean?" She gestured around us. "This. All of this. You've proven yourself. You've reclaimed your identity. But where do you go from here?" Her question lingered in the air, and I realized I didn't have an answer. For so long, my focus had been on escaping my past and proving my worth. Now that I had achieved that, the future felt like uncharted territory. "I don't know," I admitted. "But I do know one thing," she raised an eyebrow, waiting. "Wherever I go, I want you there with me." The words hung between us, raw and unguarded. Misty's expression softened, and a small smile tugged at her lips. "Good answer." We continued walking, the city lights casting a warm glow around us. For the first time in years, I felt a sense of peace. The road ahead might have been uncertain, but with Misty by my side, I knew it would be a journey worth taking. As weeks turned into months, Sue Corporation's star began to rise in the jewelry industry. With the momentum of my competition win and Misty's strategic leadership, we introduced a bold new collection that took the market by storm. Aurora Dreams was inspired by the ethereal beauty of the Northern Lights, blending cutting-edge techniques with traditional craftsmanship. The launch was an unqualified success, solidifying our reputation as trendsetters in the industry. But with success came challenges. The Lin family wasn't about to let us overshadow them without a fight. Rumors began to circulate that they were planning an aggressive marketing campaign to reclaim their dominance. Elizabeth's name cropped up frequently in industry news, often associated with Joaquin and their latest projects. I knew it was only a matter of time before they attempted to undermine us directly. One morning, Misty burst into my office with an urgent expression. "We have a problem," she said, dropping a stack of documents on my desk. I skimmed through them, my brow furrowing. The Lin family had filed a lawsuit against Sue Corporation, claiming that elements of Aurora Dreams infringed on their designs. It was a baseless accusation, but the legal battle could tarnish our reputation and drain our resources. "They're trying to scare us," Misty said, her voice steely. "But we're not backing down." Her determination was contagious. We mobilized our legal team and prepared to fight back. Over the next few weeks, the tension was palpable. The lawsuit became a hot topic in the media, with both companies trading barbs through official statements. It was exhausting, but I refused to let the Lin family intimidate me. This was no longer just about business, it was personal. Amidst the chaos, Misty and I found solace in our work. Late nights in the design studio became our sanctuary, a place where we could channel our frustrations into creativity. One evening, as we finalized sketches for a new collection, Misty glanced at me thoughtfully. "Do you ever regret it?" she asked. "Regret what?" I replied, setting down my pencil. "Leaving the Lin family. Walking away from everything you built there." I considered her question carefully. "No," I said finally. "What I built there wasn't mine. It was built on their terms, their expectations. Here, I've found something real. Something worth fighting for." Misty smiled, a rare softness in her expression. "Good. Because I can't imagine doing this without you." Her words lingered in the air, filling the room with a warmth that made the weight of our struggles feel lighter. For the first time in weeks, I allowed myself to relax, to believe that we could overcome anything together. The lawsuit dragged on, but our persistence paid off. The court ruled in our favor, declaring the Lin family's claims baseless and awarding Sue Corporation damages for defamation. It was a resounding victory, one that sent a clear message to the industry: we were here to stay. The win was celebrated with a grand event at Sue Corporation's headquarters. As I stood on stage, addressing our team and partners, I felt a deep sense of pride. This wasn't just my triumph, it was a testament to the strength and resilience of everyone who had believed in us. After the speeches and applause, Misty pulled me aside. "There's something I want to show you," she said, leading me to a private room. Inside, a single piece of jewelry rested on a velvet display. It was a necklace unlike anything I'd ever seen, featuring a delicate cascade of gemstones that shimmered like the aurora borealis. Misty picked it up and turned to me. "This is for you," she said, fastening the necklace around my neck. "A reminder of what we've accomplished. And what's still to come." I touched the necklace, overwhelmed by the gesture. "Thank you," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. Her eyes met mine, and in that moment, I knew there was no turning back. Together, we were unstoppable. But the Lin family wasn't finished. They had suffered a public humiliation, and Elizabeth, in particular, seemed intent on revenge. She reached out to me under the guise of reconciliation, requesting a meeting to discuss mutually beneficial opportunities. I was skeptical but agreed to hear her out. We met at a luxurious cafe, the kind of place where the rich and powerful conducted their affairs. Elizabeth was poised and impeccably dressed, her demeanor as polished as ever. "Paul," she began, her tone honeyed, "I'll get straight to the point. The Lin family wants to bury the hatchet. We're willing to offer you a position, a senior role, with full creative control." I leaned back in my chair, studying her. "Why now?" She hesitated, her composure slipping for a fraction of a second. "Because we need someone like you. Someone who understands the industry, who can innovate. Together, we could achieve so much." Her words were enticing, but I could see through the facade. This wasn't about reconciliation, it was about control. They wanted to neutralize me as a threat, to bring me back under their thumb. "I appreciate the offer," I said, my voice steady. "But I've already found where I belong." Elizabeth's smile faltered, and for the first time, I saw a flicker of desperation in her eyes. "Paul, don't be rash. Think about it." I stood, placing a few bills on the table. "I have. And my answer is no." As I walked away, I felt a sense of finality. The chapter with Elizabeth and the Lin family was closed, and there was no going back. My future was with Sue Corporation, and with Misty. The turning point in my journey wasn't just about professional success. It was about reclaiming my identity, my worth, and my place in the world. And as I stood on the precipice of this new chapter, I knew one thing for certain: the best was yet to come. The following year marked a turning point, not just for Sue Corporation, but for me personally. Our bold strategies, innovative designs, and relentless pursuit of excellence had catapulted us to the top of the jewelry industry. The Lin family, once the undisputed leaders, now struggled to keep pace, their influence waning with each passing season. Misty and I had become an unstoppable team. Together, we spearheaded the launch of our most ambitious project yet, a line called Eternal Horizons. It was more than jewelry, it was a statement, a collection inspired by the infinite possibilities of human potential. Each piece told a story, blending art and emotion in a way that resonated deeply with our customers. On the night of the launch gala, the atmosphere was electric. Industry elites, celebrities, and art connoisseurs gathered in a grand hall adorned with cascading crystal chandeliers and displays of our creations. As I stood at the center of it all, I felt a deep sense of fulfillment. This was the culmination of years of hard work, sacrifice, and resilience. As the evening progressed, Misty approached me with a mischievous glint in her eye. "You're about to have a very important guest," she whispered. Before I could ask who, a familiar figure stepped into the room. It was Alan, the renowned director of ASD Jewelry, a company I had idolized in my early career. He extended his hand with a warm smile. "Paul, I've been following your journey. Congratulations on everything you've achieved." I shook his hand, momentarily at a loss for words. "Thank you, Alan. It's an honor to have you here." Alan's expression grew serious. "The honor is mine. Your work has redefined what's possible in this industry. I'd like to discuss a collaboration between ASD and Sue Corporation." Misty, who had been standing nearby, couldn't hide her excitement. This was the opportunity of a lifetime, a chance to solidify Sue Corporation's position on the global stage. "We'd love to," I said, my voice steady despite the surge of emotion within me. "Let's set up a meeting to discuss the details." In the weeks that followed, the partnership with ASD took shape. It was an exhilarating experience, combining the expertise of two innovative companies to create something truly groundbreaking. The collaboration culminated in a joint collection called Celestial Harmony, which debuted at an exclusive event in Paris. The launch was a resounding success, garnering rave reviews from critics and customers alike. For the first time, Sue Corporation's name stood shoulder to shoulder with the most prestigious brands in the world. It was a moment of triumph that underscored how far we had come. But amidst the professional highs, there were personal challenges to navigate. Elizabeth's attempts to undermine us had grown increasingly desperate. She had resorted to underhanded tactics, spreading false rumors and trying to poach our clients. While her efforts were largely unsuccessful, they served as a reminder that the past wasn't completely behind me. One day, as I reviewed designs in my office, Misty walked in holding a letter. "It's from Elizabeth," she said, handing it to me. I opened it cautiously, unsure of what to expect. The letter was surprisingly heartfelt, an apology laced with regret and a plea for forgiveness. She acknowledged the pain she had caused and expressed a desire to move forward, not as rivals, but as individuals seeking peace. "What do you think?" Misty asked, watching me closely. I set the letter down and sighed. "I think she means it. But forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. I'm not going to let her back into my life, but I can let go of the anger." Misty nodded, her expression thoughtful. "You've grown, Paul. And that's what sets you apart." The final chapter of my journey unfolded in the form of a major industry award. The International Jewelry Association had nominated me for their Lifetime Achievement Award, an honor reserved for those who had made a lasting impact on the field. It was a surreal moment, a recognition of not only my work but also the struggles and triumphs that had shaped me. On the night of the ceremony, I stood on stage, the award heavy in my hands. As I looked out at the audience, I saw Misty's proud smile and the faces of my team, the people who had believed in me when no one else did. "This award is not just for me," I said, my voice steady despite the lump in my throat. "It's for everyone who has ever faced adversity and come out stronger. It's a testament to the power of resilience, creativity, and the unwavering belief that we can create something extraordinary." The applause was deafening, but amidst the noise, I felt a profound sense of peace. The journey had been long and often painful, but it had led me to a place of purpose and fulfillment. As I stepped off the stage, Misty met me with a hug. "You did it," she whispered. "We did it," I corrected, smiling down at her. Together, we walked into the future, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The legacy we were building wasn't just about jewelry, it was about breaking barriers, embracing innovation, and proving that even the darkest moments could give rise to brilliance.